Welcome to the Life, Love, Everything podcast with me, your host, Tasmin Bota. So, today I wanted to tell you guys how life has been the past couple of weeks. It's actually been quite the roller coaster. So, your girl ended up needing to have surgery. How the heck did we get here? Well, especially us moms, stay at home moms, who don't have any support system, especially, but all moms, we tend to, when we are not feeling well, just carry on with life. We keep push through it. Obviously, everything else always takes priority over our own health. And so that's exactly what happened in this instant. And for a good 2 months or so, I was feeling extremely horrible. So I've had an ulcer for the past couple of years, but it's been under control. I think the last time I had an episode was when I was pregnant with my last. And so when I started experiencing these intense stomach pains, I naturally assumed it was the ulcer. And so I started doing everything that I would do in order to treat an ulcer. Obviously, self-diagnosis here. And it just wasn't working. But because we don't have a support system, as you know, in the typical regard, I just did not have the time to be sick, to be quite honest with you. And so I kept pushing through. I mean, things need to be done, the kids scheduling, all of that. The show still needed to go on whether I was feeling well or not. And it started becoming so terrible that like every second day I was having an episode. And as much as I tried to eliminate the things that I thought would trigger the ulcer, just was not happening and it was not working. And I even went so far as, there was a day that I just like really couldn't take it anymore, went to go see the GP. And GP says, it doesn't actually sound like an ulcer to me, sounds like gallstones. But, I'm going to give you medication to treat both. If you're still not feeling okay, you need to go and have an ultrasound to see if it is gallstones. I just wanted the medication to take the pain away. And so I just took the medication, carried on with my day. And I was fine for that day. The very next day, I had another episode. I took the medication. The medication was not working. Like I was double over in pain. And Murphy's Law, hubby was not around. So it was just me and the kids. And I absolutely did not know what to do. But the thing that was running through my mind the most was like, this pain is so intense and I'm so scared if something happens and it happens in front of the kids, I wouldn't want to leave my children with such a memory. And so some quick thinking, I called one of my family members that's not too far away to come and watch my kids and asked my neighbors to rush me to the hospital. It was an intense 24 hours because if anybody knows how the public health system in our country works, it's a waiting game, literally. But, mentally I prepared myself because I knew this is how it goes. And actually, they ended up discharging me. They gave me a ton of medicine. In fact, while I was doubled over in the emergency room, they had to try 3 different kinds of painkillers to get this pain to subside. And after having an ultrasound done, my GP was correct. I had gallstones. Had no idea what that was, had no idea what caused it. But, I was just grateful for the fact that I had medication that would help me with the pain. And so on my merry way, they sent me with a letter to come back in about a week's time to get some blood work results and, the next course of action. And so went back in a week. Up until that week, up until that day, everything was pretty much controlled. But because I knew what it was, I now knew what not to eat to avoid triggering it. And Funny thing is, go see the doctor, all of that, and come to find out your girl was deathly ill. And even the doctor said, like, that's the problem with diagnosing women, is that you guys don't look as sick as you really are, because we just push through, we just carry on. Even if you feel like you're literally dying, you're going to still do what needs to be done, because you know that there's nobody else to do it. Like, who else is going to do it? Like, even in my mind, I was thinking, like, I just don't have the time to not be well. I don't have the time to be sick. So as he's saying this to me, he's like, he was also, I could see in his mind that, like, he's too minded about it. He's like, do I let her go, or should we just book her in? And I'm like looking at them, and that very day, my kid had something on at school that evening, and my mind just kept saying, like, ain't no time to be laid up in hospital. I've got things to do. Like, what is the plan of action here? Just, let's keep up with the medication until whatever needs to be done needs to be done. And so the doctor looks at me and he's like, okay, we're going to give you some medication, but we're telling you that if you at any moment don't feel well, just come back. Okay. And then they tried scheduling me I needed to have a procedure done, which is kind of specialized. So at the hospital that I was at, they didn't have the equipment in order to do that. So they were trying to make a booking for me at another hospital for me to go through and have the procedure done. And what they needed to do was, one of the gallstones was stuck in a very precarious place in one of the ducts. And that was actually what was causing the excruciating pain. So they asked me to just, sit and chill and relax until they were able to give me a time or date. But I also kind of think they were stalling, because they were waiting for more test results to come through, because the ones that they had were like really showing like what the results were saying, and how I looked just wasn't matching up. And I could, I could totally understand that, because I was feeling like hell. I'm not gonna lie. But I knew that I didn't have the time to dwell on feeling like hell. All that I wanted was something to make me feel better so that I could carry on, because life was lifing, you know what I'm saying? And as we were sitting waiting there, I was lucky my husband was with me that day. We're sitting, we're waiting. Also, I keep checking the clock because we're running out of time, for when we need to appear for my kid's function that he has at school. And as we're sitting there, I promise you, I did not eat or drink anything that should have caused an attack. But as we were sitting there, I started having an attack. Like, I was about to kill over and die. That's how it felt. The pain was so excruciating that I like went and I looked for the doctor, and I said to him, I'm like, I am having an episode. And he's like, nope, I'm booking you in right now. Go straight up to the ward and get booked in. I'm coming to come administer some medication to you. And so for the next 5 days, guys, I was in hospital. And now it might sound so weird, but those who know, those who get it, get it. I did not realize how physically and mentally exhausted I was until I got to spend those 5 days in hospital, just relaxing, just focusing on me, just focusing on my health. I had nobody asking me to do anything, nobody expecting anything from me. All that was happening was that people kept on coming to check on how I was doing. Was there anything that I needed? Making sure that I was okay and that I was comfortable. And I'm telling you, it was such an aha moment, because I didn't realize how I was not taking care of myself emotionally, physically, all of it. Like, I was drained. I was so drained. But when you're going through it, when you're going through the motions, when you're used to running on adrenaline, when you know that you don't have time to be down and out, you just keep doing the thing. But I only realized after a couple of days that, oh my God, what you were doing was not good and it was not healthy. And, it's kind of like my body like had to do something major in order for me to recognize that, lady, this is not good. This is not okay. And so I spent 5 days in hospital, lots of medications, lots of antibiotics. I had an infection that was ravaging my body that I didn't even realize. And managed to have the procedure done where they remove that particular stone, and then had to come back 2 weeks after to have surgery and remove my whole gallbladder. And that was something. But I do remember when they were rolling me into theatre, asking the anesthesiologist and the nurse and the doctor, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is the pain afterwards? Because now I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for how much pain I'm going to be in after the fact. And I'm like, I've had 3 C-sections, and I mean, that was pretty darn painful. Like, I think on a scale of 1 to 100, seizure pain is 110. You know what I'm saying? And after having a C-section, you're expected to immediately start taking care of another human being. So, like, I'm like, I'm trying to compare, is the pain as bad as that was? And the anesthesiologist says to me, no, it's not as bad as that. And don't worry, we're going to give you some really good drugs to help you afterwards. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's go ahead. Let's do the damn thing. And honestly, I think afterwards, when I came to, I have a really bad reaction to anesthesia. And I think especially when I'm knocked out, it really, really throws me off. So when I had the procedure 2 weeks before, I also had to have anesthesia. I did go under for a very short amount of time. It was a very quick procedure, but I came out of there and I really wasn't feeling myself. So just imagine, for this actual surgery, the amount of anesthesia that they give you. I came out of there, I was like beside myself, actually. I was crying so much afterwards. Like, my husband couldn't get to the hospital fast enough. Like, it was too terrible. But let me tell you, the pain was really, really, really not bad, compared to the Caesar, because I think that's the only other major abdominal surgery that I've had that I can compare it to. And yeah, I was so glad, because I was so worried. I know when I had my C-sections, I struggled to get off of the bed, like, struggle. That pain was next level. Couldn't even, get up. And this time, I didn't struggle like that, even though I'd already prepared. Like, I had my husband have the one side of the bed up so that I had something to pull myself up. But I was able to get up and, carry on with life almost immediately. I mean, except for the fact that I was so nauseous afterwards. That was not fun, having to throw up when you have just had stomach surgery. Like, really, that's not fun. But apart from that, it really, really was not bad. And I think I stayed in hospital the day of the surgery, and I got just discharged the following day. And I think I was more worried about how am I going to navigate things at home, more than I was worried about the fact that I actually had surgery. So I was just, trying to figure out in my mind how would I do the day-to-day stuff. And, like, they were very, very adamant on no heavy lifting, no bending. And, like, it's very hard to explain to your kids, but I think I'm lucky that my kids are a bit older. And so, like, I could actually physically show them the bandages and stuff that I had on, and explain to them why mommy, especially my little one, why mommy can't pick you up, mommy won't be able to bath you. I was fortunate in that my mom did come to help me out for a short period of time, which it helped. I was able to, because I said to my husband, I'm like, I'm not gonna not take the time that I need to rest and heal and recover, because I know the effects of me not doing that, what will happen, as it has happened with my last two C-sections. I didn't give myself time to heal, and I'm suffering years after the fact because of it. I'm like, so I need this X amount of time to do what I need to do in order to get to where I need to get. And so I did take the time I needed to rest, well, as much as I could within the period that I had help. But my husband was also really phenomenal in taking over most of the heavy lifting, which absolutely made the world of difference. And also gave me an opportunity to do a lot of behind the scenes work on, both the nonprofit and the online store. So I loved that. I loved the fact that I was able to get a lot of work done, that I had time to heal and rest, and, you know, essentially recovery ended up being quicker than I expected. And I think it's because I took the time out. And it was a real wake up call, and something that I'd like to let all of you know, that it is okay. It is okay to take some time out. You don't always have to be go, 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 go. But I know also the reality of life is that life doesn't always allow us or grants us those opportunities, especially as parents. So if you do have a village, if you do have people who can help you, who can be there for you, like lean into it, lean on them, and take the time that you need, because wow, it's so easy to get so caught up and so lost in the day to day. It also makes you think about how relationships suffer because of that, how marriages suffer because of that, because we're always just on the go, 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 never ever taking time out for ourselves, for our spouses, for, I had a lot of time, as you can hear, to think about some things, because at one point I really, really was scared that something terrible could happen or was happening, and your girl didn't want to go out like that. I laugh now, but at the time I was petrified. When I made the decision to go to hospital, it was because I was deathly afraid of what if. And I'm glad that I did do it when I did it. Because I think had I left it any longer, who knows. But also to, listen to that little voice inside of you, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to take time. It's okay to rest. And as I'm saying this to you guys, I'm saying it to myself as well. And it's something that I also need to learn to start reminding myself to do, because very quickly I fell back into the pattern of do. But I am still, taking some time out to rest here and there. Obviously, I'm not laid up in bed anymore. Actually, life has pretty much gone back to normal. And yeah, we're still just doing the things that need to be done. But I'm trying very hard not to be so OCD about the fact that, I need things to be done at a certain time, in a certain way, looking a certain way. Like, no, this experience has taught me that there are so much more important things. You know what I'm saying? I think the being at home part is the part that made me become OCD, because I was so not OCD before then. And so, and I'm learning to find that balance again, slowly but surely, baby steps, of course. And I don't wanna not listen to my body. I'm trying to really get in tune with myself, with my needs. I'm so in tune with everybody else's needs, but not so much my own. And so, yeah, that's how the past couple of weeks have been in our household. But I'm so glad to say that I'm feeling so much better. I'm back on my feet. I'm able to do things, and very, very, very grateful for the people that stepped up and helped during that time. And especially my husband. Yeah, he always comes through. He really, really always comes through. I think he's had to go through more me being sick and hospitalizations and all these years that we've been together, I've never ever had to do that for him. Touch wood, thank God. But yeah, he's always such a strength and a shoulder to lean on, and I'm so grateful for that. And yeah, that's the update on where we are at with surgery. So just again, like let's focus on not taking ourselves for granted, because you know, if mommy's not okay, everybody else is not okay. But if mommy's doing good, then everybody else is doing good as well. Till next time, I'm your host, Tasmin Bota.